Imagine this. One day, a child is born carrying the DNA of its father, its mother, and the silent contribution of a second mother. It sounds like science fiction, doesn't it? Yet this is not a story from the future. It's happening right now inside cutting-edge laboratories. Science has reached the point where it can create an embryo from two mothers. And the goal isn't curiosity or some futuristic experiment in designer babies. The purpose is far more humane: to save lives. To understand how this is possible, we need to talk about something tiny but absolutely vital: mitochondria. Think of mitochondria as the mini power plants that exist in every single cell of your body. Their job? To produce the energy that keeps us alive, to breathe, to move, to grow. But here's the twist. Unlike most structures inside our cells, mitochondria have their own DNA, called mitochondrial DNA. And this DNA is unique because it's passed down only from mothers to their children. Now, if this mitochondrial DNA is faulty, the child can inherit devastating diseases. And here's the problem. Right now, medicine has almost no way of curing these conditions. So, what's the solution? At Newcastle University in England, researchers came up with a radical yet elegant idea: replace the battery of life. Picture this. You own an old radio. The radio itself works perfectly fine, but its batteries are dead. You simply swap them for new ones, and suddenly the radio plays beautifully again. That is exactly what scientists are trying to do with human life. Here's how. They take the nucleus of a fertilized egg, that's the part containing the DNA from the father and the first mother, but with faulty mitochondria. Then they move that nucleus into the healthy egg of a second woman, whose mitochondria are working properly. The result? A brand new embryo, one that carries the full genetic blueprint of the father and the first mother, all the traits like hair color, eye color, height, and personality, but powered by healthy mitochondria from the second mother. And this is key. The child is still the biological child of the father and the first mother. The second mother only provides the power supply, the mitochondria, not the features that make the child who they are. Professor John Byrne used a powerful analogy. He said, "We're not replacing the radio, we're just changing the batteries. The radio is still yours, it simply works better." And here's the amazing part. This isn't just theory. Back in 2001, researchers at the Institute for Reproductive Medicine in St. Barnabas, New Jersey, performed a similar technique. The outcome? 15 healthy babies were born. And so far, none of them appear to have inherited their mother's mitochondrial diseases. This shows us that science may have found a way to break the chain of deadly genetic disorders, once thought to be impossible to stop. But, as you can imagine, not everyone is cheering. Ethicists warn, could this be the first step to designer babies? If we can swap mitochondria, what's next? Could parents one day demand babies with specific intelligence levels, athletic ability, or even physical appearance? The Newcastle team insists the answer is no. This technique is not about creating super babies. It's about one thing only: preventing children from being born with incurable, painful diseases. For now, in the UK, embryos created through this method are not allowed to develop into babies. The work remains at the research stage. But just think about it. A child who owes its life not only to its parents, but also to the silent gift of a second mother, who contributed nothing more than a set of healthy mitochondria, a tiny spark of energy. so that this child could live free of disease. Isn't that one of the most human, most compassionate applications of science you've ever heard of? This breakthrough could mark the beginning of a new era, an era where genetic curses no longer haunt future generations, where children are born healthy, with their futures intact. And yet it also forces us to ask one of the biggest questions of all. Where should we draw the line when science has the power to rewrite the rules of life itself? The answer is still ahead of us.